All right. Hey, we are live, and today is the 21st day of June in the Lather games, and so I'm uh, live all month so far. It'd be great if I could was able to keep that up, but life happens, and so if I can't, I can't. But I'm having a great time doing it. We're starting a little bit early today, 11 o'clock my time, and that's good. Maybe I can get to bed a little quicker. But I'm excited today because I get to try my Pearl Flexi razor. This is version number 5, the 5th generation that they've made, the 5th run, and it's a hefty beast. And I'm looking forward to trying it for the first time. Today in the Lather games is Aquatics, as well as summer-focused scents. Like if a soap has notes of suntan lotion or beach kind of related things, then that's what we're talking about. Swimming pools like Cannonball from Summer Break. And so that's why aquatics are included as well. I don't have very many summer scents, I don't think. I don't think that's just a genre that I've gravitated towards, but I definitely have some aquatics. And we're going to be using Zingari Man, the Watchman. This is the Seago soap base, and this is a sample. Ben, hey there, Major Mincemeat as well. Hey guys, welcome. Jay, hey there. All right, so I've got a little sample of the Watchman here. I actually bought the Watchman when it came out full retail, and but it was just so lightly scented that I passed it on to somebody else who I thought might appreciate it more. I'm going to scoop out a 1/4 teaspoon here. I ended up with a sample of it, and so I'm glad I had it because it was helpful to have it for the Lather games today. Now, the brush I'm going to use has an aquatic handle. Look at that beautiful blue, and it's from Southern Witchcrafts, and it's a hybrid handle where it's part resin and part stabilized wood. And then I have this Virginia Ching silver tip knot. I've been wanting to try their larger knot in the silver tip, and so I bought it, and I didn't have a handle to put it in. And I don't think this is the knot that's going to rest permanently in this handle, but the beauty of silicone is that I can always swap it out later. And so for now, I get to enjoy the handle and the knot as I play around with this silver tip. He's been in water for a while now. He's a big guy, big and puffy. His tips aren't as soft as some of the higher price silver tips, like of course, like Elite or the Sterling. High Mountain White is has a softer tip so far, but sometimes with more uses they'll change. So we're keeping an eye on that. We're going to follow with the Zingari Man brand and use Explorer as the aftershave balm today. They are renowned for the quality of their balms. If you need a nourishing hydration type of device after your shave, they have just been highly spoken of for a very long time now, in terms of a few years, ever since they came out. So it's terrific. And then I did find I'm getting low on frags. I don't have a big collection of fragrances, and so I am starting to get low. I'm trying to do a different one each day of the month. And I did find one that was water related, Aqua Fahrenheit. And this is from Dior. And they created this scent, and it is designed to be what would happen if water were to turn to fire. And so there we go. It kind of matches the refreshing part of summer, pools and lakes and swimming, along with the miserable part of summer, how we're all just so hot. So that's the shave for today. Let's see. Let's put the blade in. I dropped the blade last shave, and so I wanted to kind of clean it up a little bit. And so I poured some alcohol splash on it. of a cheaper splash that I just didn't like quite as much. And so it looks a little cleaner than it has in the past. The Sharpie dot is still there, and the N1 is, I'm glad I did that etching so that even if the Sharpie dot got washed off with my efforts, the N1 to validate the authenticity is still there. And then this side really, I think, cleaned up. And one of the reasons this side is so clean is because that's the top side. That goes toward the top cap. This is the blade I haven't flipped yet, except for one mistaken shave. And so let's put it in the pearl. If you're curious about the pearl, you can look at my video that I made of it just a few days ago, a mail call type video. And there's a couple different ways you can load the pearl. I'm going to do the safe way. I'm going to hold it up like that and put the blade on that way. And now I know the blade can't slip. You can also put the blade on top of the plate there. Now, it's like two-piece razors from other manufacturers like Merkur or vintage Gillette's. You've got that long bolt there. This will be my first time shaving with this razor. And as I'm thinking, this blade is, I think maybe I will go with something in the mid-range during the first part of the shave. Hey, Peter. You know what, Jay, we got just some rain. Yeah. Actually on Sunday night, got some nasty rain coming through, power outage in some areas. Peter, yeah. Oh, Peter's on time. Very cool. Today, fortunately, it was pretty nice where I am. So as I'm thinking about the aggression settings to use, if I have a younger blade under 30 uses or something like that, then I'll usually pick something nice and mild. And so from a 1 to a 6, maybe a 2 or something in general might be where I start with. But this is the Nasset. And while I believe at the end of the shave, when I do my against the grain work right here, this is my tough area, it's very resistant unless I do that against the grain with this Nasset blade. And I'm liking doing that with a mild setting usually. And so I will try to remember to switch that to mild before that. But until then, let's just shoot for middle of the road. And so we're looking at 1 to 6. And so let's dial it to, actually a 3. We'll put it on a 3, tighten it back down. It looks like blade position is going to be exact each time. Looks like it's seating the blade well. The alignment is not something you're going to have to worry about. Hey, Linus, welcome. Linus, the number 400 is going to be on Wednesday in 2 days because today is the 398th shave. We've got 397 dots. So today is 398. So Wednesday on the Lather Games, Wednesday is Wild Card Wednesday. And so I get to use whatever soap I want. Now, some people are going nuts and using, body lotion or, cooking oil. You don't actually have to. It's the one day of the games where you can use a non-soap product. And so some people are going to go nuts. If there's one, the judges in the recent podcast released this weekend, they said that if there's one day that you go through and read all the posts in the Lather Games, then the Wild Card Wednesday is the one to do it. And I'm not surprised. Jay, thank you, man. Yeah, hopefully the YouTube will release me for mobile streaming very soon. They haven't as of like yesterday, so I'm still having to keep my Chromebook going here. So we've got it set on 3, kind of a mid-range. This is a razor that's patterned after the Gibbs adjustable razor, a French one from years ago, because it's easily recognizable because of the safety bar shape and the knob, the handle, a lot of the stuff. And so I hope, because my Gibbs is very kind to me, I hope that it is also reminiscent of the Gibbs in the feel. And if it is, then I'm going to be very happy with this one. It's a heavy beast. Do not get it. Do not buy it if you don't like heavy razors. It is solid. It also represents a nice effort by someone in the shaving world to put out uh, an adjustable under $100 that is made of premium metals. This is plated, yes, but it's brass underneath, just like all those vintage Gillettes. And so we're talking decades and decades and decades of use, generally speaking. Oh man, Zachary, great, very nice. He had some badger brush issues. I think maybe we talked about it yesterday. Very happy to hear that was helpful for you. Very nice. All right. As usual in the lather games, it's one day of growth. And let's press this soap. And it's a nice firm crope. The performance of Zingari has been very good. I like it a lot. You know what? I mean, I didn't like my Rex. It was my Rex Ambassador bin. And so I think it's different enough to where that I don't think a legal action would be justified or all that. Because after all, Rex patterned theirs after the Gibbs as well. And I didn't really, my Rex, even at lower settings, was still not smooth and comfortable. Whereas a Gibbs, for me, I can almost use it for the whole spectrum. And so it'll be nice to see what this razor gives me. And plus the pearl shaving is in India, so that might be tough to pursue legal action across the international boundaries. I definitely hadn't heard about anything. Oh, isn't it? It's yeah. What isn't it, like Razor Emporium or whatever that does the Rex? I can't remember. Sorry. Well, Jay, some people really love their Rex ambassadors and their envoys, but some people don't. For me, it was too harsh and not all that enjoyable and comfortable. Yeah, Ben, agree. Jay, but some people do like it, and so it's hard to say it's an expensive experiment to buy it to try and see. And we definitely had some guys on the chat where maybe that mail call. Yeah, Zach, if you're curious, jump on that mail call where I showed this razor, because it was a live mail call, I think. And I think we had some discussions about this razor and about the Rex Ambassador. Some of you guys were able to chime in and say, the Rex was nice for me. Or others, I know somebody chimed in and said that the Rex Envoy, which is like an Ambassador set at 3, was a little too tenuous for them as well. They had a similar feel as I did. Hey, Danny, welcome. Okay, Ben likes his Rex Envoy, or the Rex Envoy. All right, let's mix up this lather. One nice thing about this particular silver tip, Virginia Ching, I bought it on eBay. It is a very inexpensive badger. And to be honest, I got to try, thanks to a fellow shaver's generosity, a Simpson Duke brush in best quality bristle, badger hair. And I believe that those tips were not as soft as these, and that's a much more expensive brush. The backbone was nice on the Duke, but the tips just weren't really all that soft. And so I think it's for people who want a little bit more scrub, perhaps. And so I would say if you are fond of the Simpsons, but your budget is small, then the Virginia Ching because you can buy just the knot itself and put it in any handle you want with a little bit of silicone. And the Virginia Ching could be a good option. And we do, after all, have a good number of cheap handles out there on the internet that you can get for $6, $8, that sort of thing. Oh, those aquatic notes are coming out of the Watchman really nicely. It was one of those where the strength is such that you can get it when you put your nose in your bowl. But by the time I'd get the lather on my face, it was just too faint. And I would be totally fine with it if I didn't have too many soaps, or if I didn't have the ability to have too many soaps, because of course the quality of the lather is terrific, and it did give me a light scent. And during the shave, if I wanted to have more scent, I could just stick my nose in the bowl, right? But unfortunately, there are just too many scents out there, too many soap makers available where I can get that good scent during the shave, or a good scent, and so just have stronger scent notes. Now, it could be that my nose is just weird, and so this may be a nice scent strength for other guys out there. And we have got a pretty elastic look here. So let's just, I'm going to try not to overwater it today. So we're just going to give it a good mix. Looking forward to feeling that Pearl Flexi. Zesty Calco is a regular viewer, and he ordered from about the same time I did. We both got 5th generation razors, I believe, and his looked a little bit misaligned with the base plate. And so he actually is working with them to have them fix it. Unfortunately, because of all the demand that they've had, they don't have a razor in stock just to be able to, shoot one to him. So he's a little frustrated with that, and that's pretty understandable. All right, we've the lather has kind of come together to be a little bit more consistent. That is just terrific right there. Let's go with that. Get my face wet one more time. Ivermectin, welcome. Yeah, I thought their ambassador was by Razor Emporium. Yeah. Now that's true. I did see the Home Like Taiga. I assume it's pronounced Taiga. Yeah, that one that's I'm actually kind of curious about, but I don't know, the look of it was real strange. And, to be honest, I'm a child of the 70s and 80s. And so prime Cold War time, right? So for me, buying Russian stuff, almost, it really kind of feels like I'm betraying my country. Yeah, this is a nice big knot. And this does feel a little bit better than that Simpson. Now it's, it's not like a whip dog or a Kent or a golden nib are going to have softer tips. But this guy is going to change over time, I think, a little bit. And I'm kind of enjoying the big knot, and it's inexpensive. And so I thought, why not try this guy out? And this is a great example of how you can have a good brush without breaking the bank. All right. Heritage Shaving. Oh, okay. They've got one coming up. Oh, under $50. Wow. Jay and ivermectin are both chomping at the bit to share the good news. Oh, looks like I've nailed the lather here. I don't have too much grouping around my goatee, and the lather is kind of slipping down onto the handle. Still has a nice creamy feel. So I think we're looking good. I think I got it just right. Zingari is a brand that has started, as far as I know, with a focus on skincare, and so they have lots of other products. And then they got into shaving soap, and so you can believe that her soaps have a high focus on your skincare regimen. If that's important to you, if you have really dry skin, then check out her stuff, huh? Heather is the lead person there, and seems to be just a terrific person from all the interactions that I've seen with her. All right. Now, of course, this is not really a fair comparison, a fair initiation of the Rex. I'm sorry, of the Pearl Flexi, but. So we're not going to call it a review of this razor at all, or a first impression, because it's using a blade that most people aren't going to have access to. Most people don't go to 400 with a blade. So this guy is on 398. Let's see how things go. A little tuggy, but that's kind of normal. Definitely looking forward to putting a fresh blade in this guy, or a young one. One thing I think I'm feeling kind of a smoothness to the blade. I'm not feeling tenuousness, a allowance of the blade to kind of vibrate as it moves across my skin. So I'm very happy about that. The soap is working well, getting nice slickness, and I bet the rest of these passes are going to be real nice. Now, for me, I have such an oily nature about my skin that the Zingari soap, the bar of soap that I bought, I wanted something a little bit more caustic, a little bit more strip things off of your body, you know. But if you're looking for bar soaps that are very nourishing, that sort of thing, then Zingari Man might be a good one to check out. And they're available in a bunch of her different scents. Hey, Zesty. Yes, you did. I'm glad you joined in. I was mentioning your drama about your Flexi just a few minutes ago. All right, so that's the first pass down. Now, some people like to take an adjustable razor like this one and change the settings as they go. And of course, if that makes you happy, then do it. Some people, and it would be normal to maybe start out with something more aggressive and then dial down the aggression as the shave moves on. And if I were to change mine, that's what I would do. I usually pick something nice and smooth and just stick with it the whole time. But I have seen somebody almost dial it up as they went, and then they had less passes, and it was more efficient because they were getting more aggressive. But that didn't work for me. Let's do cross grain now. Zesty, if this is positive, I will apologize in advance, since unfortunately he doesn't quite know what Pearl is going to want him to do with his, and so he hasn't used it yet. This is a very smooth pass. I'm liking the fact that I'm not hearing a lot of chatter from the razor. Of course, that's just my personal preference. I am getting some razor feel, some blade feel, but it feels in very good control. And this is, again, we're using a setting of 3. So this should be kind of a mid-range shave. If I want something more mild, then we can go down to a 2 or a 1. And this razor doesn't have click points, and so you could do a 2.5 or a 2.25 if you wanted to. All right, face is feeling good. Rinse. Okay, I'm glad I chose that setting because it's fairly comfortable, but it is removing the stubble well. I can feel that reduction with each pass, and that's pretty much perfect. We'll do another of the same pass right now. Today's theme is aquatics. Its official Lather Day theme is summer, and aquatics is included in that grouping. So I took advantage of using an aquatic. With this heavy of a razor, I do tend to put my pinky down here, like when I'm lifting it up. Let's see how that works during the natural shave process. Of course, I don't need to put it here while the razor is horizontal. The shave is feeling pretty consistent. Like I don't feel like I have some kind of misaligned, part of the razor. Now, Zesty, since you noticed and you did mention that your base plate misalignment was very slight. It was visible by the human eye, but it was slight, you said. You may still be able to enjoy it if you find out that you can keep it. They don't want you to send it back because if you put it at a setting where the mildness on one side and the more aggressive on the other end of the range there, if that was in a happy medium, then it could still be a very usable item for you. But I don't know what they're going to ask you to do, of course. Let's go the other direction now. Now I do feel like I could give myself some razor rash if I wanted to. And I think that's kind of the hallmark of a mid-range razor. Yeah. I think a lot of people like use SD, start aggressive and then back it down. Yeah. Well, Jay, I do like a lot of the aquatics, but it's not a genre that I've kind of made a mental list of. Aqua has been a favorite cologne of mine for years and years, and it's fairly aquatic. So that one immediately jumps to mind. And there are a few clones of that out there. A lot of times they're a little too mild because it is kind of a mild scent. I wonder what other aquatics there are. I'd probably enjoy the Watchman as a splash. And maybe it's too mild as a soap, but I bet I'd like it as a splash. What other famous aquatics are there out there in the shaving world? I'll also mention that this razor does have covered blade tabs, and so Mr. Michael Friedberg is going to be happy with that. And so if you do tend to like scrape your ears or your nose by going past things, and if that's uncomfortable, then this razor is going to protect you from that. But it also means it has a wider head, and the blade edge doesn't get as close up near things potentially. All right. I'm really happy with the way my face feels. I mean, it's not a baby butt smooth or anything like that, but it's pretty nice. And so let's do that against the grain pass down here. You know what I'm going to do first? I'm going to do 2 approaches down there. I'm going to dial it down to a 2, tighten it back down, and then I'm going to put a little kind of touch up lather here. And I'm not quite going to do that against the grain pass yet. Okay, as the blade is installed, I'm looking at alignment. I think it is just a little bit closer on one end. I don't think that it's exactly even, at least on one side, but that of course could be my old blade. Okay. Gotcha. So they must have, Zesty, they must have had a few other people have the same problem. Probably exchanging it. I mean, it costs enough to where it's probably worth the patience of waiting. All right. So cross grain. Very comfortable here. One thing about heavy razors, Timeless has some heavy razors as well. One thing about heavy is that inertia can be your friend. In terms of a smooth feel, if you do like a smooth feel, then the heaviness, the weight can work to your advantage, because the inertia of the head moving across your face of the razor is going to carry you through the hairs. I've definitely had lighter razors have me feel like I was having to pull the razor through the hairs. And so that can be a nice perception of smoothness that some people really enjoy. Gotcha, Zesty. And yeah, those vintage Gillette adjustables are terrific. Now, I do think that this guy's probably going to end up to be a little smoother than them. Now, if I look at the difference in gap, I can see a difference, but it would be hard for me to tell you an amount. It would take feeler gauges for me to be able to point it out. And that's on one side. Is it on both sides? It kind of is on both sides. It's very minute. I'd want to try another blade in it, of course, with my Nasset being so old and weird. I'll try it again. Yeah, Ivor, I think you might have something there. Okay, so here we go with the against the grain stroke right here. Generally pretty good. I think that's going to probably work pretty well. But with this, I might actually, now that I noticed it, now I'm in the same boat as Zesty, because while I do think that it might give me decent shaves, if I'm going to pay that much for a razor, I kind of want it to be right. So I'll have to think as well. I'll put another blade in it and take a look at it and see if the same alignment issue persists. It's one where I could not really notice anything without the blade in it. Looking at it, I really couldn't see a difference. But with the blade in it and looking along the safety bar and blade, I can see that it's very, very slightly higher on one end than the other. Well, I can smell the Watchman. A nice place to smell even mild soaps. Obviously, you've got the bowl that you can envelop your nose in, but you've also got the sink. At least for me, when I've been down there and I do the rinse, I do get a wonderful whiff of whatever soap I'm using, even if it's quite mild. Let's check out the closeness. I want to do a touch up. It didn't do super well, but that could have been me sticking to certain areas. So let's just do a quick touch up here and see. Yeah, that cleaned up those nicely. So if you happen to put a near 400 use blade in the Pearl Flexi, even though it may not be exactly perfectly aligned, it's still able to give you a very close, enjoyable shave with a nice flush cut. Well, here's the thing, Zesty. I think the variant is a whole different beast than the Flexi. Number one, the Flexi is premium materials. It's brass underneath. The variant is not. It's Zamac. And it's got all those working parts. And whenever that plating wears away, it's going to explode. And so to pay $20 more and get the premium parts, to me, it seems like a good investment. Now, also, while I enjoyed the Parker variant for quite a while, at some point I tried a razor that had very little blade chatter, that had a nice firm grip on the blade from the bottom as well. And then all of a sudden, the variant became noisy to me significantly, and I had to sell it. All of a sudden, I became aware of these smooth, quiet shaves, and it was enough to make me know that that is my promised land. And so I did sell my variant. You think so? Okay. Roger that. Of course, the top cap would be the critical piece. If that little bolt, is the key piece. If it corrodes and breaks down inside the razor, then the whole razor is toast. So in a way, it doesn't matter about the other parts of the razor, because that bolt is the weak spot. It's the part where that plating is going to get worn away. So, but if you keep it clean and dry, that bolt and stuff, then it can still last you for a great number of years. All right, let's get a good rinse. So I think speaks well. In a way, this is a good test of the Pearl Flexi, because I got a comfortable shave. I enjoyed the feel of it, the smoothness of it. I was happy with that, even with a really old blade. So pretty cool. Yeah, see, the old types have a very good grip as well. Those old types, yeah. They were too rough for me when I was just starting out. My technique wasn't good enough to wield them safely and comfortably. Now it's really neat to feel them slice through. They're pretty cool. All right, now I do have some tenderness down here, but it's a nice close shave. So I'm going to have to think about whether I want to be somebody who beefs about the Flexi as well, tries to get a replacement out of it. We'll have to see. Think about that. All right. The Watchman. Oh, that nice aquatic. And it's got some murkiness to it. There are some other aquatics out there. There's one called like Puro Fresco or something. It was for a limited run by for the DFS group, Pentacrema or something like that. And it was this really neat aquatic that was a fresh ozone kind of aquatic where you just feel like, man, there is just clean mist all the way around me, like purity. You know, it was a really neat experience when I used that the first time. All right, so let's put on the balm. And this is the, okay, this doesn't say the Seago balm. So this is probably the version before the Seago balm, but I got a feeling it's going to be nice as well. A little bit of moisture left on my face to help the balm spread around easily. It's a light scent. This one, I love it when the makers put the main notes on the packaging. Citrus, woods, and vetiver. I think it's a great combination. Definitely get something woody and a hint of the vetiver. And I guess it's citrus and woods is what I'm smelling. And it almost seems like a blend of the orange and the lemon and lime kind of things. You know, it's not one or the other, at least to my nose. All right, that feels good. I'm sure that's going to be nourishing and enjoyable. We'll put on the Aqua Fahrenheit in just a minute. And how much water did this soap use? 1/4 teaspoon of soap, and it didn't take much, about 18 milliliters of water, something like that, maybe a little bit more. And I believe that I pretty much nailed it. It was creamy, it was slick. It may have been just a little too wet, but may have been just perfect. So very happy with the water ratio today. See, yeah, I want to try some of that Floyd blue or the Epsilon blue. Yeah, I think those would be neat. I like a lot of those blue scents. You know, Barrister and Man has that blue, the Cool as a part of its reserve line, and the Splash as well. Arco has an aftershave splash called, I think, Cool or something like that. And it is a very nice Aqua Velva family blue type scent that I really like, actually better than the Aqua Velva that I tried. The current version, it seems like to me, it just is not the same as it used to be. Oh yeah, Barrister and Man Oceana. That's a good one. I've got one of those old school lather pucks of the Oceana. All right. Very good. So the Pearl, I'm happy with it. I am happy with it. It is heavy, and I felt it during the shave. But when I was doing it, I did feel that weight when I was doing faster buffing motions. It did affect me then, but in general, the weight didn't affect me at all. In fact, in general, it would only help because of that inertia and smoothness that I was talking about. Very happy with the lack of blade chatter, that sort of thing. And now the Flexi is a part of the Nasset's run, and we'll just see what happens. See what I decide to do, about that version. As usual, I did, as you guys may want to jump in with any questions at this point, use my usual 3D printed lather bowl. And Roger Quintero is the main designer of it. And in the description of the video, I'll have a link to it in case you are interested as well. I saw something neat where somebody took this design and they changed it a little bit to where they fed in different colors in the printing thread process. And so it gave some really neat patterns inside here. And then it was stripy up the sidewall. That was really cool. They did contrasting colors, and I think it was like yellow and red or something like that. Obviously, you could do it with more similar colors and have a less jarring effect. But I think it was really, really pretty cool. Oh, the special, man, Peter, thank you. Thank you. What is I better look. What's the daily challenge? I believe I looked at it. What was today? Aquatic summer. Man, I'm glad you mentioned that. I hope it's not something that I had to involve in my shave. Okay. I didn't even read this one yet. Usually I shave so late that I read the next one in advance. Oh no, I missed a daily challenge. I did read this one. Shave with your other hand. That was today's challenge. Thank you. Thank you, Peter. Now, what can I do? What can I do about that? I can, my cheeks actually could use a bit of touching up. So why don't we do a pass with the left hand? So what we're going to do is we are going to take let's do an experiment. I'm going to take some of this soap and I'm going to kind of rub it around here in my hand. Spread it around kind of evenly. Very concentrated, of course, since it's pure soap. Zesty, yes, yes. Thank you guys for the touch-up suggestions. Yes. Linus, yeah. I've often thought about shaving my head. When I look at my hair and I don't really feel like messing with it anymore. All right, so we've got it spread all over here. I'm going to take my brush. Pretty wet now. And then let's kind of work up like a palm lather here. And I'm doing it with my left hand. It feels so weird. That's actually going to be a pretty functional lather, I think. Well, you know what? Sometimes the lather games are a bit of work, especially in the beginning where you are working your schedule. Before I was planning things out, you spend hours trying to put it together because I'm playing where I use a different shave maker, and a different lather soap maker every day. And you have to get strategic. But next year, I may not do that. You'll lose a point, but it opens up world of possibilities. And so when you come across, when it's time to shave with your favorite aquatic or something like that, then you can use the same maker twice, during the month if you want. And then I think you might enjoy the shaves a little bit more. All right. Well, there we go. Okay, now here we go. We're lathering up with the left hand. Oh, and I need to get my face a little wet. We can take some of the palm lather here, and let's get a little bit of water. Sometimes the little challenges, you actually learn something. Like right here, I learned I can make a kind of quick rudimentary palm lather by just taking a crope, spreading it around on my hand. It's just so weird using my left hand. I feel like a toddler trying to remember the moves that have become habit, rolling it off the brush like that and trying to reverse them. Boy, my right arm is definitely used to doing the main work here. Also, the lather games are designed to just kind of be fun, and you may be working off your left hand, but now you get to jump in there and read about all the other people who had to do it too. All right, we are looking good here. I've got a thin, this is a good quality soap, and so all it takes is a thin layer to get the job done. And that was maybe a third of a quarter of a teaspoon. So I guess that makes it a 12th of a teaspoon, roughly. All right, so now, since this is a touch-up, why don't we dial it down to 1 and see what happens. Okay, cross grain. Now that's very smooth. I'm using my right hand. All right, here we go. In a way, using my left hand is not very hard because in my straight razor shaving, I'm used to working the left hand on the left side of the face. I'm trying to train myself to do that. Now, I need to take my own advice and slow down because I don't have the muscle memory to do this fast. Slow down. Work on holding the razor loosely. Yeah, I'm doing okay as long as I keep it slow. Now, the fact that it's kind of grabbing hair during certain of these passes tells me that the one setting is not a useless setting, that it might be a really enjoyable, mild setting. Pretty cool. When I put a normal blade in it, you know what I'm saying? All right. Well, there we go. A left-handed shave. Peter, I owe that one to Peter. Thank you. I need all the points I can get. There are guys who are going crazy. They are, there's one guy who went into a public park in Sweden with a cart of shave gear, the basin, the mirror, rinse buckets, and his gear, and he shaved in the public park. And then people got him in trouble. And then so he had to move. And so he wrote all about the whole experience. There are people who, are shaving by the side of the road. There are guys who, the other day, the bonus, the daily challenge was to write a haiku. And so while I did very well in the haiku department, I wrote like 8 or 11 haikus in my particular post. And there was a flow to them that added some comedy in there. Somebody else did their entire shave write-up in haiku form. And so they had a multitude of haikus there, all talking about the different aspects of the shave. Yes, Peter, it is interesting. And so many times I actually learned something. The other day it was lathering with a plate on Mammoth Day, which was Saturday. It was lathering up with a plate instead of my usual bowl. And today I learned I had to improvise. And so I learned that you can start off a palm lather by just spreading that soap evenly all over your hand and going at it from there. Instead of, like if you had a sample, instead of having a tub and being able to brush load and then starting with a palm lather, you can just take, and if you have a sample to work out of or something where you don't have a tub to work with, just you can take your fingernail into the sample and hook out a bunch and then do like I did, spread it all over, kind of rubbed it in almost like some kind of salve, and then started with a wet brush. And as you can see, it gave me a good lather. All right, rinse now. All right, that was very comfortable. Really happy about the level one, the mild level of the razor. I do love it when an adjustable, kind of like the carve, like the Gibbs, when it's it's manufactured in a way that you can use such a large spectrum of the settings instead of having just one or two settings be what you're stuck with. On the other hand, that also may mean that if you're a really aggressive shaver, a particular razor might not be good for you. That's right. That's right. Peter jumped in, and I had my shirt off. I believe it was Peter, and I was lathering on my chest, building up the lather on my chest instead of the bowl, because that was the daily challenge. And there were so many guys who jumped in that day and said, "What am I joining? What's going on here?" It was hilarious. Well, it turns out there is a guy on Reddit. He's part of the Lather Games team, and the other judges in the Lather Games team know that he actually does build his lather on his chest. And it's because his neck is really sensitive, and all that brush work to work up his lather will irritate his neck. And so one day he just decided to try working his chest. Yes, it was rated R. Yeah, I guess I could have, but he builds his lather on his chest, and then he's able to move up and put it on his face, and he doesn't irritate himself. And so that's actually how he prefers to shave, because it helps him out. And so without him knowing it, they put that in as a daily challenge. And then he was surprised and really enjoyed that, from what I hear. While I kind of let my face settle down, I'm going to take another look now that we're on the one setting and see what the alignment looks like, because it's very close to the safety bar. My opinion is, if I can't tell a difference, then that's close enough, right? Then there's nothing for me to complain about, at least. Oh, at this setting, the difference is no. There's not enough of a difference to for sure be able to tell. So when it cranked down this way, apparently it lines itself up properly. Now that was on one side. Let's flip to the other side. Same thing. Looks like it's consistent at a setting of 1. There we go. And that's with my Nasset. So it does change a little bit now. So we got to experiment, right? Let's clock it up to a 5, lock it down, take a look at it. Because even with version 1, I think that's one of the issues that people had. It's actually hard to see a difference there. Huh. Okay. Well, I'm going to have to check it out more later pick a real blade, put it in there, not one that's been used so many times and dropped and all those kind of things. Yeah, Ivor, that was my assumption too, but it's not immediately, the misalignment being amplified is not immediately jumping out at me. It's really hard to see. Okay. Yeah, Zesty. I'll do that. I wonder, and then I could be able to say, well, that's pretty much the same as mine, or wow, that is much more aggressive than my problem. You know what? Some of the razors do that. I know that the variant has a little symbol on it to make sure that you put the head on the right way. Peter, that's good advice. I don't think I turned the head on this one, but thank you for saying that. might have to, when I put a new blade in it and look at it, I'll try that and see if it changes anything. All right. Well, that was a good shave. Okay, now that Explorer is pretty nice. I like that as a balm. I'm glad I got that as a balm. Okay, so now we'll try the Dior Aqua Fahrenheit. It does have some aquatic notes in it, but it is going to want to morph into On Fire, as the theme kind of suggests. Let the alcohol kind of burn off. Oh yeah, I do smell that hint of an aquatic note. Neat. Now, in a way, it's a lot of work to do the lather games here, but I'll tell you what, some of the prizes are worth a good bit of work. There are going to be some prize. Wolfman Razors is going to give away a custom Wolfman razor. Last year, I believe, was the opportunity for the winner to get a B1 or a B2 declaration brush, and it was the last of those hairs that he had. And so there's no more coming from him. The only way you're going to get either of those rare brushes is to buy one from somebody else. And wow, and so that's part of the reason why you may want to really work hard during the lather games. I am choosing to not work super hard at it, and I'm glad, because life is really heavy on me right now. And so I'm playing to where even if I win nothing, I've enjoyed my time, and that's good for me right now. But other guys, I've mentioned some of the things that other guys are doing. Some guys are creative. They're not doing crazy things, but they're being creative with their writing. They're making very enjoyable posts. Some of them are so clever, and you just terrific reads. We've got one guy who's in the medical profession, and in years past, he's told us these, I think they're amazing stories. They're highly interesting, that sort of thing. And so a lot of people are doing different things to participate in the lather games, and the judges' points is what they're going for with the games, with their extra bit of effort is what they're, because the judges' points are all going to be averaged. And so if you've got a high amount of effort, then hopefully you've got a high amount of judges' points, and that'll help you out in the final standings. Because I guarantee you, with the, I'm not going to come in first or second or third. I'll be lucky if I'm in the top 15, I think. I am getting a lot of points. I'm doing the frag thing. I'm doing a unique soaper every day. And so I'm going for those points. I'm doing I think I missed one daily challenge, but I think I've done the rest. So it would be really cool to win a prize this year, because some of them are really amazing prizes. Zesty, what smells like cucumber? You talk about this scent, and this may have actually been one you sent me. The Aqua Fahrenheit. Peter says, I used to fish for grayling in the UK. They smelled of cucumber too. Interesting. Roger that. Yeah, okay. I can kind of see that. I can see it, but to me, it's different enough. There's like some pepper there, or something else that's in the way of the cucumber, maybe some woodiness, something that is making it so the cucumber is not fresh and bright like I would normally associate with it. And so if you hadn't have said that, then I wouldn't have said cucumber. Well, that's a neat cucumber and pepper. Who would have thought? There's some other things in there too. This is an interesting one. I wouldn't have guessed that I would have liked a cologne that said it was modeled after fire, but I don't know how it'll pan out later, but I'm kind of liking it right now. Petrol Aquatics grapefruit, really. Pretty neat. How about that? Pretty neat. Okay, well, man, I am glad I didn't wrap it up too soon because Peter saved my bacon with the daily challenge. All right. Okay. Polo blue. Of course, my sense of smell could also be affected by the soap that I just used, the balm that I just used as well. It could be affecting my perception of the cologne there. Okay. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so they basically took the Fahrenheit and tweaked it and made it a little aquatic by this one. All right. Yes, well done. Peter saved my bacon. Okay. I think we're good. Anybody have any last minute questions? I will definitely be looking more pensively. I did notice during this shave that I kind of wish the knurling here on the handle was a little bit more grabby. When it's wet, it does. I wish it were just a touch more grabby. I think it's something that I get used to and won't have a problem with at all. But that's just a tiny, tiny little complaint. So I'll definitely have to put some new blades in it, look at it, eyeball it. I don't have any feeler gauges, so I can't put those in to measure the gap, though. Oh, is it? Okay. Understood. All right. Good to know. It's interesting. A whole lot of colognes out there have a cologne note. It may be bergamot. I can't remember. But it's something that I just don't enjoy. I can put it on and immediately notice, nope. And but this one doesn't have that. It's got some neat pieces to it. I might have to see if it's on the used market or at some kind of retailer who has old stock or something like that. Yes, I will submit on time today. That's right, Peter. All right, guys. I am going to leave the channel open just for a second if anybody has any questions as I clean up. But bye for now. Take care. It was great to have you. The Nasset marches on. And since the blade tabs don't stick out, you can't really pull the blade out with the top cap unless it sticks on there. So you have to be careful and pull it off there yourself. I'm glad I didn't notice any difference from when I had to clean the blade with that alcohol splash. Good night, Zesty. Night, John Boy. Nice little razor. Just drop the brush on a towel. And here's what he looks like. He didn't feel scrubby at all, but his tips aren't super soft yet. I wonder how many uses. I think it's my info said I had about 28 uses on this knot, but that's kind of hard to believe. I wonder if something went wrong with mine. Definitely have to use the Explorer balm some more. That was very nice. And the Seago base in the Watchman from Zingari is we'll have enough for another day. So that's pretty cool. And where's my Sharpie? It's time to put a dot on the paper for shave 398. It's so funny. This column represents 100 dots, once we complete that row. It's a crazy town. And for you stragglers, let's take a look and see what tomorrow is. Oh, man. See, today's sponsor was Sterling, the sponsor spotlight. Man, I'm such a huge Sterling fan. If you watch my channel at all, you know that. The soap base is economically priced. It performs really well. It performs close to the top tier, but at like half the price often. And but is it half as good? No way. It's like maybe 10% is less than the top, maybe even less than that. And so for the value, for the bang, it's just enjoyable. And then if you try the sheet base, the mutton tallow base, it's even better in terms of performance. And he's got so many scents to choose from. I just bought some Sterling colognes the other day. One of you guys during the daily shaves, these lather games here mentioned Sandpiper. And I remembered that I really did like that soap a lot. And I thought, you know what? Let's get the EDT. And so I went on their site and I ordered it. So I'm looking forward to bringing some of those to you. Talked about Sterling. Okay, tomorrow's theme, Collaboration Day. Collaboration Day. Very cool. That is where some other company has worked on the soap, the scent for this soap that somebody else has. Like one that has been used in the past a lot has been something from like Sudsy Soapery, because I think Chatillon Luxe or somebody else came in and did some of those scents for them, and then that was a good one to use because it was not on Declaration Day and you couldn't overlap, that sort of thing. That was a weird one because that was about the only one that you could use for that purpose. And so for that day, everybody who had it had to use it. It was a lot of consternation. Fortunately, they did away with that rule this year. And so I think that has opened up the lather games a little bit. Santal Noir by Mammoth. The scent was designed by APR, for instance. I know Noble Otter has had some where APR has designed the scent. Obviously, Declaration Grooming has often had Chatillon Luxe to be the perfumer for some of his soaps as well. So that's what tomorrow is going to have. All right. Let's see. I don't know the challenge tomorrow because they're going to let us know at about 3 a.m. So I won't know it, but somebody mentioned that on the shave so I can look at it before I actually do the shave. Thank you. Peter saved me today. And so I did get in some left-handed work and it was slow, but it reminded me to echo some of the usual things that I tell other people. Take your time, go slow, and it's something to practice that your muscle memory doesn't have. And so you have to think of your angle, your pressure, your stroke, your direction, and all of these things at the same time. And here's just some encouragement that it does get better for those of you who might be new watching this in replay or even just live. If you're new to shaving, this kind of shaving, that kind of thing, it will get better. It will become natural. I can just zip around with my right hand because I've done it so many times, and it's always at the right pressure, almost always. It's always at the right angle, that sort of thing. And so start slow, your muscles will get it. And before you know it, you'll be having fast, quick, but also enjoyable shaves if that's what you want. All right. I'm enjoying these scents around me. I think this Aqua Fahrenheit is working very well with the Explorer and the Watchman. I didn't know that would happen, but it did. Really cool. All right. I think we're going to sign off. Thank you guys so much. I have really enjoyed live shaving with you guys. this month, and we've got a week left of it, maybe a week and a couple of days, I think. And so we've got a little bit more to go. All right, now take care, everybody. Bye for now. And hope there's something in this video that helps you out. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves.